Great, thanks very much, and thanks very much to Resource Rising Stars. It's great to be here on the Gold Coast. So we don't have much time. I'll fly through this. Please come up to the booth. I'll be there all day and come and ask some questions. So I quite like starting with this slide. This sort of demonstrates really nicely our project. We've got a copper gold project up in Canada. It is copper with a gold credit, which is always nice. And these are some of the drill intercepts that have gone out on the ASX platform over the last 12 months. And it shows the resource is very much open. And that's our game plan at the moment, is extending this resource. So we already have 40 million tonnes at 2.1% copper with a gold credit. And you can see here, this is a pretty impressive growth that we have coming up. So we've got a resource update coming out in October of this year, and then followed by another one in April next year, followed by another resource update in the middle of next year, followed by another one in Christmas next year. So plenty of resource growth, 4 drill rigs turning, and lots happening. Anyway, normal disclaimers people can read in their own time, and everything is on the ASX platform. So I'm going to talk today about the Green Bay Copper Gold Project. That's what you just saw those drill results on. We acquired the project in the middle of October last year. We only started drilling on it around December of last year, January of this year, and we've ramped up from 1 drill rig on site to 2 to 3, and we now have 4 drill rigs operating. So we put some results out this morning, similar results to what you saw in that first slide that I showed you. The resource is very much open, and we've got a 100,000 metre drill program happening at the moment. We've completed 30,000 metres of that 100,000 metre program, and you'll see things really ramping up over the next few months. Now, the value of our company at the moment, I think, is purely valued on the Green Bay Copper Gold Project. We also have a second project, which you don't hear us talking about much, but it would be one of the highest grade, largest undeveloped gold projects in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, with almost 3 million ounces of gold going at 7 grams per tonne sticking out from surface. So watch this space. You're going to hear us talking about this later on in the year, and looking for a way to create value for our shareholders. I won't go into the team today, but let me say, it's a team that's been involved in building mines. We've got ex-Northern Star, Bellevue Gold people, as well as a bunch of others that have proven in getting projects up and running. And we are well funded. We have about $35 million in cash in the bank as of today. That's plenty to get us through for the next 6 to 12 months on everything we're about to talk about in this presentation. So very tightly held is probably the takeaway on this slide. Board and management have a good chunk as well, and we've bought those shares in placements along the journey, along with every other investor in the room. We also have a good institutional shareholding as well. BlackRock recently joined the shareholder base. They bought another 4% on market a few weeks ago. We have good research from a number of banking and broking firms, not just here in Australia, but overseas as well. And probably the other real takeaway is to take on this is that there is no debt, there's no offtake, there's no royalties, there's no streams associated with the company as well. So I've got a short presentation just to give you a feel for the project and where we are and what we're up to. So it's always nice to see a few images of what we're up to. So fully operational mine, fully permitted, ready to go in Newfoundland with everything that we need there ready to go, which came with the project when we bought it in October last year. Now this slide's always an interesting one. So this is the latest data of the ASX platform from up until 30th of July of the 30th of June this year, and it shows all ASX listed copper producers and their projects that they produce from. And of course, you know, on the right-hand side, you can see the big producers producing over 100,000 tonne of copper, attributable copper, on each of their mines, and that's BHP and Rio Tinto and the likes. But when you come down the ladder, there's very few that would be producing around that sort of 30, 40, 50,000 tonne of copper. Our mine has got scale, it's got grade. As I said, it's already 40 million tonnes of contained copper there at the moment. We've got drill rigs turning. You'll see that resource growing with that 100,000 metre drill program that's underway, and you're going to see us designing and building a bigger processing plant at site that will be delivering copper into that sort of region that you can see there, 30, 40, 50,000 tonne of copper ultimately per annum, and then hopefully upscaling from there over time as well. And we often get asked as well, it's a fairly new project for people to see down here in Australia. The North American market knows it well, obviously being in Canada. And so we've got a couple of comparison projects. There's a lot of information on this slide, so you don't have to read everything. But for me personally, when I look at the projects and I try and compare it to a couple of projects in Australia, you can say Cobar, people are familiar with, and Ernest Henry, you know, another company making project. You know, our project currently has just over 700,000 tonne of actual copper in it, plus the gold credit on top. The 100,000 metre drill program that you're seeing underway at the moment, with a resource update coming out in October, another one, as I said, in April, another one in the middle of next year. Well, I think by the time we get to April, you'll be seeing the copper component increasing to up around that sort of Cobar and Ernest Henry sizes. The other standout on our project, which is familiar and similar to, say, a Cobar or an Ernest Henry, is the sunken infrastructure that's there. So we already have a shaft that's down to about 650 metres vertical depth. We have a decline that goes down to 950 metres below surface. So, we're all set, ready to go there. And probably the thing that's not similar to that is that we only paid 65 million Australian dollars for this project to own it 100%, with no offtake, no streaming, no royalties, no debt as well. And so what I like to say, if we don't find any more copper with this 100,000 metre drill program, which isn't true because we've put an announcement out today to show that it's growing, but if we didn't find any more, we already have what I like to call the base load there. It is already a sizable resource that will be multi-year mine life with a new designed plant at surface. We have that hydropower running over the property, the port's sitting right there, only a couple of kilometres away from us as well, and that hydropower is going at about 6 cents a kilowatt hour, so a fraction of the price of what you'd pay in most places around the world. So that infrastructure, those sunken costs, are a huge benefit to us. As I said, decline shaft, port ready to go. And for us, it's all about growth with the drill bit, creating value for our company with the drill bit. So those 4 drill rigs turning, you'll see the high-grade load increasing in size, you'll see the big footwall load increasing in size, and importantly, the announcement we put out today is that the downhole geophysics works really well on this project. So you're about to see some discovery drilling happening, and this is the first time discovery work has ever happened on this project, so we're really excited by that. We own the entire volcanoclastic sedimentary sequence as well in the region. This is a big land holding. We're currently flying VTEM as we speak. We're doing a whole bunch of geophysics over the property, and you'll see around about Christmas time of this year a 5th drill rig on site and targeting some of those regional targets. So what we're hoping to show is that this is district scale, not just the mine itself. So lots going on, lots of news flow. I'll take you into where the project is. We're in Newfoundland, Labrador, an amazing mining jurisdiction. It really is a true Tier 1 jurisdiction. There's big mines operating there, Rio Tinto, Vale, you've got Tata Steel, you've got Champion Iron, some big operations and big oil and gas off the coast. In fact, 32% of its GDP from Newfoundland comes from mining. So think South Australia. This is a mining jurisdiction with strong government support. So another quick video here, but I'll walk you through it as we go through. We're in the northern area called the Baie Verte Peninsula. We have the largest land holding in the region, as I said, covering all of volcanoclastic sedimentary sequence. I haven't even talked about the processing plant we have there. We already have a 500,000 tonne per annum processing plant on care and maintenance, ready to be turned on in a heartbeat. That port is only 5 kilometres, 6 kilometres over the hill behind us there, which has got excess capacity for us. Granted mining licences, that hydropower running over the property will be a huge benefit to us when we turn the mine back on. All the infrastructure sitting there ready to go and easily accessible in and out, operates 24/7, 365 days a year. And when you look at the ore body itself, that big red blob is the ore body, so there's 30 million tonnes at 2% copper sitting there. It starts from 250 metres below surface, it goes down to 1 kilometre below surface. You've got that shaft down to 650 metres, and you've got the decline down to the 900 metres. So all of that development, a lot of it is on 5.5 metre by 5.5 metre development, so you can get big trucks up and down that. We're currently at the bottom of the mine at the moment, putting in an exploration drill drive, and that's where our drill rigs are parked up. You can see that marked up in green there. Excellent ground conditions. We've got a jumbo operating at the moment, and we've put in about 800 metres of development for those drill platforms. Now, these high-grade loads, these are really important, and this is what we're testing at the moment and what we're stepping out on. And again, the results we put out today show that it carries on. It's the results that I showed you on the first slide as well, so very much carrying on. It is copper with gold, and very high-grade copper with gold credit. And then sitting below it, there's 30 million tonnes in this big red blob, as you call it, that strikes for over 1.2 kilometres and very, very consistent. It's up to 300 metres wide, it's 200 metres thick, and it strikes for well over 1 kilometre. And again, that's what we're drilling at the moment. So as I said, we've been operating since January with the twin boom Sandvik Jumbo there. We've put in close to 800 metres of development, 4 drill platforms set up. Those 4 drill rigs are in those platforms. They've been drilling since January. And you can see there the drill traces. So that first platform, now that is completed in the drilling, and all those red dots that are stepping out from the resource, you can see that's what will be going into the resource update in October, in a few weeks' time. And then that second platform is where the drill rigs are now, and they are starting to drill. So you'll see an increase in the resource coming out from that platform. And then obviously we'll be pushing on and growing, stepping out and putting in further drill platforms to increase that current resource on not just the high-grade loads, but also on that big footwall load as well. But it starts to get pretty exciting now, because of those 4 drill rigs, one of those drill rigs is now set up to do discovery drilling. So that discovery drilling is going to be really important for us. What we're doing, we've put out an announcement today saying that the downhole geophysics, the downhole electromagnetics works really well, and that was to be expected because it's a sulfide copper deposit. And so we'll be extending the drilling using the downhole EM, but what's really exciting is that we'll be going out wildcat drilling as well. So the first time anyone has wildcat drilled on the property, these are 5 exploratory holes that we'll be doing. They'll be looking out into the west, into the east, and below the ore body looking for high-grade feeder zones. And if we hit anything on that, then I think it'll be game-changing for the company. So everything I spoke about is around the head frame, around that decline and where the existing infrastructure is. We put our first announcement out on the regional targeting a couple of weeks ago. We've now kicked this off in earnest. We've just employed an exploration manager full-time to look after that. We have a whole bunch of targets. There's VTEM flying as we speak, and in about a month's time we should have those targets all ready to go. And then from there we should have a drill rig out on site at around about December, January of later this year to be drilling some of these regional targets. And we're hoping to demonstrate that this is a large district scale VMS camp, as most of these VMS mineralised systems around the world typically are. So plenty of news flow. We've ramped up from, as I said, 1 drill rig in January of this year. We now have 4 drill rigs turning, 3 on step-out growth on the high-grade load and the big footwall load, and 1 on discovery, brand new discovery drilling with that downhole geophysics. You'll see a resource update in October, as I said, April another one, then June, July next year. So plenty of news flow and plenty of growth from that, and hopefully some step change discovery work as well. So plenty going on. It's certainly full steam ahead with us. Hopefully plenty of ways for us to create value for shareholders and create growth over the next 12 to 18 months. and pretty much everything I spoke about was on Green Bay, but watch this space because Pickle Crow at nearly 3 million ounces of gold at 7 grams per tonne is a very highly valued project that I think you'll see us creating value on later this year with a way of looking to either sell that or in species distribute out a spin out of that for our shareholders. So watch the space on Pickle Crow. So I know I blurted through all that. Please come over to the booth. I'll be there for the rest of the day and come and ask some questions. Thanks.